Howdy Creekwatchers, ready to calibrate for dissolved oxygen? Let's check in with Beth and see how it's done.
All right, we're at our creek watching site and we need to make sure that we calibrate dissolved oxygen with our DO meter before we take our depth profile. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look in the lower left hand corner to get our barometric pressure reading in millimeters of mercury. Today our barometric pressure reading is 763.0. We're going to record that on the front of our site sample data sheet in the calibration section. Then we're going to take out our trusty smartphone and we're going to pull up our calculator app and we're going to divide 763 by 7.6. That gives us a value of 100.39. So we're going to round that up to 100.4 and we're going to record that on our data sheet where it says expected calibration value. That value is really important because when we calibrate the instrument, the DO percentage that is on the screen must be within 2, and that could be plus or minus percentage points of our expected calibration value. So at this point, we're ready to calibrate. We're going to do a long press on the cal button again, and we'll see the same menu that we saw back at home when we calibrated conductivity. We're going to use the arrow button to move up to dissolved oxygen. We're going to press enter. Unlike our conductivity calibration, DO is immediately going to begin calibrating. And hopefully it'll say calibration successful. This meter did. Our DO percentage is at 100.4. So we are dead on, perfect match to our expected calibration value. Providing that your calibration went through successfully, you got calibration successful, your percentage, your DO percentage was within the plus minus 2 percentage points of your expected calibration value, you are now ready to use the meter at your site. If this number is not within plus or minus 2 percentage points, you need to troubleshoot, because if you use your meter, we're not going to be able to use any of your data and it's all going to be flagged. So what can you do to try to correct an inaccurate calibration? First of all, make sure that your meter has been on at least 15 minutes and that it's had plenty of time to warm up. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the storage chamber is on. Make sure that you do not have the meter probe in the water when you're trying to calibrate DO. So it should be on land and it should be inside the storage chamber. If you had your storage chamber off, or if you had the probe in the water when you were trying to calibrate DO, you need to bring it back on land, rinse it with your distilled water, give it a good flick, check the inside of your storage chamber, make sure that there is a sponge at the bottom. If there's not, that's going to create an issue. If there is a sponge, look at it and make sure that it has plenty of moisture in there. If it doesn't and you have bottled water with you, you could add bottled water. Never add distilled water to the storage chamber. That is going to create issues with the membrane. Return the storage chamber to the probe so that it's attached and go through the calibration process again. If it's still not working and you brought your membrane kit with you, go ahead and turn the meter off, remove the storage chamber, you're going to remove the probe guard, and even if your membrane cap looks good, go ahead and unscrew it. Make sure that there's not a lot of tarnish on the probe itself and replace it with a brand new membrane. You're going to need to give the meter another 15-20 minutes to warm up. That's the downside, but give it a go after that. If you are still not getting a good calibration, at that point, you need to call or text us so that we can do a meter exchange, and we'll do further troubleshooting in the office while you have a different meter that we know is working that you can use in the field.
Thanks for checking in. Happy creek watching.